for the Warrior game.
Absolutely.
And Trey's back.
Yeah. But he's not even the guy we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, he doesn't care what you say or what you think. Do you believe him? You know what? Should we just get right into it?
Okay, there you go. Boy, you know how to set us.
Let me bring in Joe Spadoni.
Okay, Spadoni.
And Spadone, yesterday, Klay Thompson was talking to the media, Tim Kawakami of The Athletic specifically, and here's the exchange. Take it away, Joe.
Kurt talks a lot about believing in his guys, especially the starting lineup. Won championship not too long ago. Having patience, letting guys kind of, find their game. How aware are you of that kind of patience, and how much do you value it?
What do you want me to bench me?
No. It's like that's
bench Wiggs.
I don't think I said that.
Okay. I mean, you can suggest it. It's fine. But I mean, thanks, Steve. I guess. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you earn these things like patience and time to find yourself. And I think history is on our side when it comes to that stuff.
You say that, dude. Have you heard people say that, or?
No, I don't care what people say. Like, they don't do what we do. They can't do what they do. That's why they talk. Why would I? Like, come on. I don't care what people say. At this point in my life. Next question.
Wow.
Go ahead.
First off, I want to hug Klay Thompson because I know where he's at. He's gripping. He doesn't like where he's at. And it's been some time about where his game is at and what he was robbed of. So I feel that. But I've been around the block to know what you say you don't like, you are consumed with. So you do hear it. And poor Tim Kawakami just asked him a question. And Steiny, this is the other part. From Union City, the mean streets of California, why did you have to throw Wiggins in there? Like, we can look at the numbers, but for you to say Wiggins is also in the canoe with me, if you want to say I'm not playing well, if I'm Wiggins, I'm like, well, damn, he didn't ask you about me.
Next question.
Klay is totally feeling it. I'm rooting for him. We all are. And I'll tell you this. If those two gentlemen, I'm talking about Wiggins and Klay, two starters, cannot find their groove like Stella, then this is going to be a long Warrior year, or there's going to have to be some uncomfortable moves made. And right now, I don't like anything about 8 and 9. And if they lose tonight, they're out the tourney. But Klay, I love you to death, but everybody can tell you're wearing it, and it's okay. But, man, he sprayed Kawakami when he didn't deserve it.
888-957-9570 is the number. Steiny Guru at Chase Center. And the knockout, 95.7, the game knockout tourney will begin at 11 o'clock. I think people are starting to get warmed up. Guru's going to take off here about 10:30, walk out to the court. I can do both. I can stay here or walk out into the court. Guru's going to be mic'd up. The listeners, always a part of the show. What did you make out of what Klay Thompson said yesterday when he was meeting the media about doesn't care what people say? It sounds to me like he does care what people say.
But why did he go to the benching?
Because he knows.
That was the rat on the table. Kawakami didn't even bring that up.
Well, he didn't, but that's really what he meant. He was talking about how Steve Kerr's made a commitment to Wiggins and to Klay Thompson to get out of this funk because they've shown in the past that they're going to get out of the funk, and so they've earned the right to get out of the funk again.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, there is doubt. There is doubt. Otherwise, Klay wouldn't have brought up the idea of
from his
him
part,
going to the bench.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's. I mean,
you think he can get better, Steiny? And when I say better, more consistent, Klay Thompson, or is this just the new reality for him and Warrior fans? This is who he may be for the rest of his career. Because I think he's better than what we've seen.
I think he's better than what we've seen, but I don't think he's ever going to get back to the player he was 4 or 5 years ago. But I mean, is that a stretch to even say that? I don't think so. That's not. I mean, he's 33. He's had 2 catastrophic injuries, and it's not his fault, but he's getting older, and he's coming off injuries. So he's got the double whammy. Draymond Green's just getting older. He only has the single whammy. And Steph Curry's getting older, but he keeps pushing Father Time away. So he's still playing at a high level. But clearly of the big three right now, I think Klay's the one feeling the most pressure. And I think I don't know, I don't want to say who would you doubt, but who do you feel more confident in as a player moving forward? Draymond Green or Klay Thompson?
It's Draymond Green, and it's for the simple fact, Steiny, he's got his chicken. He just got his contract. He's got the security. So I was just going to pose the question to you and Evan. I mean, how much of Klay struggles, and we'll never know because he's notoriously started out slow, how much of his contract status could prevent him from getting into that mental space to be the best version of himself now. So that's what just has me a little nervous, and you can sense the trepidation in my voice about every time he goes up for a jumper, what is he really, what's really going through his mind? Is it me in another uniform? And he's talked about that, the Tupac, me against the world. And again, I go back to him at Kawakami. When you feel that way, that's what it sounds like, Somebody asks you the time, and then you start, what did you say about me? I was just asking you the time, So I'm rooting for him, and hopefully it starts tonight in Sac. But if they get eliminated early, it ain't new kids on the block. It has an old kids on the block feel that, okay, we weren't taking this tournament too serious, Steiny, but we wanted to remind people we went to the conference semis, and to get knocked out early by an up-and-coming SAC team that
You're not talking about the in-season.
Oh, I am. I want that to keep going.
Why?
It's a thing, Steiny.
It's not a thing. It means absolutely nothing.
Steiny, Tuesdays and Fridays,
absolutely
baby.
Nothing.
I'm into it.
Lori Matthews on the YouTube chat is saying Klay needs to accept that he isn't what he was and find a way to make the most of what he can be. He's mad at himself and taking it out on others.
Lori put that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's profound, Lori.
Forget the contracts. Who do you trust more as a player over the next 4 years? Klay or Draymond?
Wow. At this point, Steiny, I'm gonna go Draymond Green. And I don't know where that'll get me, but you asked me, and if Klay's listening, I'm just going because Draymond's body, even though we know Father Time is undefeated, his body hadn't broke down like Klay's, and I think that means something in the grand scheme of things, especially how Klay set the bar so high with what he did. To reach those heights is greater than what Draymond has to do, even when you watch him age a little bit.
All right, Warriors play the Kings tonight at 7 o'clock, Golden One Center. Warriors have already beaten them twice this year. We're also obviously going to get into the Niners and the Philadelphia Eagles. That game is Sunday at 1:25. I also I kind of want to get into this Russell Westbrook situation again. He got into it with a fan courtside, and it's always interesting to talk about what's acceptable and what's unacceptable, because clearly Westbrook there's some things you can say to Westbrook where he's going to come right back at you right now, and I think one of them is don't call him Westbrook. Wow, he's got something about his name that he thinks.
No, I get it. Disrespectful.
Yeah,
and he's from L.A. He's from the street. It's not. He don't disrespect me, but still. What I don't like about knowing a guy or gal has a button is you can bait them. And that's what concerns me about Draymond Green is teams come in here and say, we can get this dude to go off the rails. It'll hurt his team, and it might hurt his team like this last transgression down the road. So I don't like the fact that Dennis Rodman could be baited, I thought, at the end.
Big Smooth. Big Smooth's in Oakland. Hey, Big Smooth, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you, gentlemen, for the platform. Appreciate you guys, as always. Hey, listen, man, makes me a little uncomfortable when we're trying to answer questions like, do you believe him, right? We don't know what's going on in his dome, man. We can't, we don't know what Klay's thinking, because here's Klay's standpoint. Listen, I brought you guys 4 chips. Be patient. He's proven to be at least a 20-point scorer, but if it's 18, 17, that's fine. But I think what Klay is really saying, man, is all I've done for the Bay Area, you guys just hold tight. We're 14, 15 games in. I believe Klay, like you said, Klay has been a notorious slow starter.
Yeah.
And here's what happens, guys. Klay comes back and starts averaging what he normally averages. The apology is never quite what the accusation is. We'll jump on this. This is great fodder for news, but if he comes back as Klay, our apology is going to be so minuscule you won't even be able to see it. And very rarely does media or fans come back and say, you know what, man, we were dead wrong. We don't do that as loud as the accusation. So I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable. I play college ball, and sometimes, man, you can hear the media whisperings, even when you're hurt, because people don't know, man, I'm hurt. Let me get well. You don't kind of get that. So Klay's been Klay may not be who he's been. We all understand it, but let's cut him some slack, man. The guy's brought us forth.
Let me ask you this,
yes,
Smooth. Let me ask you this: what is being said about Klay Thompson that is either unfair? Like he's not playing as he's on the decline. He's not the player he used to be. Do I think he can come off the bench? I'm not there yet.
But that's strong in itself to him and what he's meant, I think, is what Big Smooth is saying.
Of course,
and
it
even
is.
Klay was saying that to Tim.
Of course, it is.
Like, how dare you even?
It was Klay's. Yeah, it was Klay's pride. Klay said, "Man, I'm Klay." You remember when Kevin Durant said, "Man, I'm KD." You remember when he said that? This is Klay saying, "Man, I'm Klay. I'm not two-way Klay. I might be one-way Klay," and that's fair. With the injuries he's had, most people would have fallen off the map by now. So just the fact that he's worked hard. Listen, 15 points in the NBA. I know Klay. That's probably not his standard. But for us, 15 points. I mean, we'll take that. Who else has given us 15? Maybe he moves to the bench, but I don't know, man. I'm just thinking that Klay. Let's let Klay. Let's give him a mulligan, man. Let's say he sucks and he does what he's doing now. Let's give him a mulligan. I think he's
Big
earned it.
Smooth, before you go, what about him throwing Wiggins in there? I know you can about that street like that wasn't cool. You didn't have to leave my name out your mouth, baby.
Hey, Goo. You're not taking me down by myself. Hey, Goo, one other thing, man. You guys are playing knockout. Nobody should have to take charges from you, Goo. So listen, you got 5 fouls, baby. Use them all.
There you go.
Goo came out of the womb in foul trouble.
I'm proud
Came out
of
of
it.
it with like 3.
What did Handy say? I was the Black Bill Lambier? Like, the real Hooper, that's pride.
Well, it also means that nobody likes you. Nobody.
I'm a different
Not even your
animal.
teammates.
Oh, boy.
So
my teammates like me.
The one thing that I'm curious to hear is, so Klay, have your reactions been the same to, think about it.
What?
Okay, Klay Thompson yesterday. Think about that reaction, and then think about how Chris Paul responded when he was asked to come off the bench. What's the difference?
There is no difference, but the signal is it's bothering you, and I'm okay with that. These dudes are gladiators. So when Chris did you coaching, he was PO'd. And Klay was PO'd. Again, I'm no doctor. I'm no clinical doctor, shocker, Tim. But at the end of the day, when somebody just says, you know what, Steiny, Guru, and Tim Kawakami, I'm not shooting it well right now. I'm going to get back, and you're calm, that leads me to think, okay, you do got the Janet Jackson. You do have it under control. But when you do what Klay did and CP3, and it's not a bad thing, you're letting me know Steiny is wearing on you. That's all.
Well,
and at that juncture, can you get the best from your game when you got other things going on in your
Why
dome?
is it wearing on them? Because they're on the decline. That's why it's wearing on them.
You know what's funny about that? It's not even funny.
Well, I'm not laughing, but that's what happens.
And where they're at, they would naturally be on the decline. But what's maybe accelerated the decline is the fact that he had the 2 catastrophic injuries. And that's why everybody's rooting for him, Steiny. But to your question, there's no doubt he's ticked off.
But what's he ticked off at? What is Klay Thompson ticked off
His
at?
basketball mortality.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't be ticked off that
I'm not
people
saying
are
it can't
saying
change.
that people are saying maybe he should think about changing his game a little bit. Like, if you're going to be mad at that, say why you're mad at that. Say, I don't ever have to change my game.
Yeah.
I'm Klay Thompson. But Clearly something's going on with Klay, and it probably has to do with the fact that he's concerned about his basketball future. And, I look at it a different way. I think it's, to me, it's easy to say, well, if Wiggins and Klay don't get it going, the Warriors are going nowhere.
Right.
Well, no kidding. No kidding. I want to hear something else like, what if they do get back to a percentage of players that they used to be? That's not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Like, they can't get back to where they were, I don't think. I think that's unrealistic at this point. They're not going to play like this all year, but they're also not going to – Klay's not going to average 23 a game anymore. And I don't know what Wiggins' situation is, but I'm not – they have to now convince me that they can get back to championship level, because the drop-off from where they were 2 years ago to now is significant. And it's, to me – how much longer do we call it a slump? And when we start saying, these guys now it's over a quarter of the season they haven't been playing well. I mean, there's a reason this team's 8-9. And you know what? One of the reasons is not injury. They've been pretty healthy.
Well, Draymond, I got you.
He got suspended. What's new?
Yeah, but he missed
that's
5
not
games.
An excuse. So what? Like that, injury's one thing. When you do something to yourself is another. They're 8-9 and they're healthy. That's a problem.
It's not good.
So
it definitely is not good.
888-957-9570 is the number. We're at Chase Center. Warriors taking on the Sacramento Kings tonight in Sacramento at Golden One Center. Warriors have beaten the Kings twice this year. Kings healthy, but for the possibility, no Keegan Murray. Possibly. Warriors are going to get back Draymond Green. And we'll see what happens tonight. But what's the line tonight? This is going to be a tough game for the Warriors
after that Viking
tonight. Game
last night, I'm kind of taking a day off. Evan might know.
2.5.
Sacramento.
2.5.
And they want to stick it to the Warriors and knock them out of what you hate, which is the in-game tourney. Steiny, get in the game. It's a thing, man. Tuesdays and Fridays. The in-season tournament. Warriors lose tonight, they're out. Sacramento would love nothing more than to end there. You ain't going to Vegas.
They would like a lot more. They would like to end their season in the playoffs. Like, that's something they would like more.
But you do understand that opportunity is still there. But in the meantime, a book I read, great book, Terry McMillan. In the meantime, they can get them out of this tournament in the 500K.
And what tangibly will that get the Warriors?
Well, Sacramento doesn't want to lose 3 games to them early on in the season.
They don't care.
They do care. Draymond's back. This is where, like you just talked about.
That's different.
They're 8-9, and nobody likes that. But, Steiny, I'm turning into you. I didn't forgot about 2 years ago in the championship. Can you be the team that got to the conference semis last year with all that you dealt with? And hopefully Draymond's him being back, they can say, you know what, here we go. Let's try to get it in motion. But 8-9 is not what I saw coming. So let's go.
Giants for life on the YouTube chat. Kevin Huerter's better on both ends than Klay. No, he's not.
I'm not a Huerter
Kevin
fan.
Huerter stinks right now.
Go ahead, man.
He's terrible
and he stunk in the playoffs for him against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Sabonis did not. Your boy. Be eager to see what he does.
I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to score 20 points. He's going to get 10 rebounds. He's going to have 5 assists, but he won't impact the game as much as 6 other players on the floor. That's what Sabonis is going to be.
It's just a treat watching him and Curry go at it, which will happen tonight.
888-957-9570 is the number. Warriors and Sacramento Kings tonight. It's a 7 o'clock start, and Klay Thompson got a little defensive yesterday when asked about essentially how much faith that Steve Kerr has in him. And he